Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready to jump into the world of AI and see how it's shaking things up globally.
It's a wild ride, that's for sure, and moving fast.
Seriously, even just keeping up with the headlines is a job in itself these days. So today we're deep diving into an article called Unveiling the Rapid Growth of AI and Its Global Implications. And get this, it features insights from former Google CEO Eric Schmidt.
He's definitely got a front row seat to the whole AI revolution. So what's the mission for today's deep dive?
Well, we're going to unpack some pretty surprising stuff about how China is quietly becoming an AI superpower, like seriously exceeding expectations.
And that's not all. We'll also delve into the ethical dilemmas of AI in warfare, especially those autonomous weapons that are making a lot of people nervous. Plus the whole open source AI thing, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Definitely. Sharing can be great for innovation, but also has its risks. Oh, and we can't forget about AI that's so advanced it can simulate entire human communities and even create deepfakes that are practically indistinguishable from reality.
It's a lot to cover, but it's all connected. So let's start with China. This article highlights how their progress has been kind of under the radar, with some of their AI models already rivaling the big names like OpenAI.
Yeah, I was surprised by that. It's like they've been quietly building this AI powerhouse while the rest of the world was looking elsewhere.
Right. Take the DeepSeek R1 model, for example. It's a Chinese open source AI that's giving OpenAI a serious run for its money. And the crazy part is they released it just 6 weeks after OpenAI's O1 preview.
6 weeks, that's insane. The speed of development in this field is mind-boggling. What's fueling this rapid progress in China?
Well, a few things. First, China has been pouring resources into AI research and development for years now. Second, they have a huge pool of talented engineers and scientists. And third, they have access to these massive data sets, which are like gold for training AI models. The more data you feed in AI, the better it becomes at understanding and interacting with the world.
It's like a perfect storm of factors working in their favor. But how does this tie into the concerns about AI in warfare? Seems like a bit of a jump, no?
Not really. Think about it. China's growing AI prowess, combined with the development of autonomous weapons, it's a scenario that's making a lot of people, including Eric Schmidt, pretty uneasy.
Yeah, the idea of machines making life or death decisions on the battlefield is definitely unsettling. But are we talking about something that's actually happening, or is this still science fiction territory?
It's closer to reality than you might think. We're already seeing AI-driven drones being deployed,
Yeah.
even kamikaze sea drones that are basically packed with explosives. These aren't just prototypes, they're being used in actual conflicts.
Wow, that's sobering. So it's not a matter of if AI will be weaponized, but when.
It seems that way, unfortunately. And it's not just about one country or another having the upper hand. It's about the potential for an AI arms race that could spiral out of control.
Okay, now you're talking about something that sounds straight out of a dystopian novel, an AI arms race. What would that even look like?
Think of it as an escalation of AI development for military purposes. We're already seeing countries integrate neural networks into their defense systems, using AI to counter threats like, ironically, other AI-powered drones.
So it's like an AI versus AI battle playing out on a global scale. This is where my head starts to spin a little.
It's definitely complex. But before we get too lost in the potential doom and gloom, let's hear what Eric Schmidt proposes as a way to navigate this minefield. He's a pretty smart guy, so maybe he has some solutions.
Yeah, because this whole AI arms race scenario doesn't sound too promising.
His take is that we need international treaties to regulate AI in warfare, kind of like what we have for nuclear weapons. The key point is that there should always be human authorization required for any military action involving AI. Basically, keeping humans in the loop and making sure machines don't have the final say when it comes to matters of life and death.
That makes sense to me. But how do you even begin to regulate something as complex and rapidly evolving as AI? And how can we be sure that everyone will play by the rules?
Those are the million-dollar questions. Honestly, there are no easy answers. But doing nothing isn't an option either. International agreements are a starting point, at least. It's a way to get the conversation going and start establishing some ground rules.
Okay, so we've got China's rapid AI advancements, the potential for an AI arms race, and the need for some serious international cooperation. What else should we be thinking about?
Well, let's talk about open source AI. It sounds great on the surface, sharing knowledge, accelerating progress, making technology accessible to everyone. But it also comes with some potential downsides, especially when it comes to national security and the possibility of misuse. It's a bit of a dilemma.
Break it down for me. What's the issue with open source AI?
Imagine giving away the secret recipe for your most popular dish. Sure, it might inspire others to create new and amazing culinary masterpieces, but there's also the risk that someone else takes your recipe and becomes the new culinary star. In this case, that someone else could be China, with its ability to quickly replicate and adapt AI technologies.
So, by openly sharing our AI advancements, we might actually be handing over a competitive edge to our rivals.
Exactly. And that's a legitimate concern, especially when you consider things like national security and economic dominance. Even OpenAI, one of the leading AI research labs, has been grappling with this dilemma. They've open sourced some of their models, which has been great for innovation, but it's also raised concerns about potential misuse.
So, it's like a classic double-edged sword. How do we find the right balance between fostering innovation and protecting national interests?
That's the challenge, isn't it? We need to be strategic about what we share and with whom. And we need to put safeguards in place to prevent those with bad intentions from exploiting open source AI for harmful purposes.
It sounds like navigating the world of open source AI requires walking a tightrope between collaboration and caution. But before we get too deep into the geopolitical implications, let's bring it back to something a little more relatable. How is all this high-level AI stuff actually affecting our everyday lives?
Well, one area where AI is already having a tangible impact is in the realm of human behavior simulation. Generative agents are becoming incredibly sophisticated, mimicking human interactions and behaviors with remarkable accuracy. It's both fascinating and, to be honest, a bit unsettling.
Hold on, generative agents, you're going to need to explain that one. What are we talking about here?
Think of them as AI systems designed to simulate human behavior. Imagine these virtual humans interacting with each other, making decisions, forming relationships, all within a simulated environment. It's pretty mind-blowing stuff.
Okay, I'm starting to get the picture. What kind of real-world applications does this technology have?
Well, imagine researchers being able to test social theories or economic policies in these hyper-realistic virtual communities. It's like having a giant social experiment at your fingertips. You could tweak variables, observe outcomes, and gain insights that would be impossible to attain in the real world.
So it's like a virtual sandbox for understanding human behavior. That's fascinating. But you also mentioned something about the potential for misinformation. How does that fit into the picture?
The same technology that can be used to create these realistic human interactions can also be used to create deepfakes. Think of those AI-generated videos or audio recordings that are so convincing they can fool even the most discerning eye or ear.
Wait, are we talking about AI that can literally create fake news that's almost impossible to distinguish from the real thing?
Exactly, and that's a big concern because deepfakes have the potential to undermine trust in institutions, spread propaganda, and even incite violence.
Okay, now that's where the fun stops. Deepfakes are some seriously scary stuff. So what are we doing to combat this? Is there any way to tell if something's a deepfake or the real deal?
There are some telltale signs, but as the technology gets more advanced, it's becoming increasingly difficult to spot deepfakes with the naked eye. Researchers are working on tools to detect them, but it's a constant game of cat and mouse. It's a real challenge.
This is where things get really interesting and a little creepy, to be honest. AI simulating human behavior, creating virtual worlds, generating deepfakes. It's like science fiction is becoming reality right in front of us. Where do we go from here? How do we make sure AI is developed and used responsibly?
That's the billion-dollar question. And thankfully, the article we're deep diving into offers some valuable insights on that front. Welcome back. We've covered a lot of ground, haven't we? From China's AI ambitions to those generative agents, it's clear that AI is rapidly changing the game.
It is, and it's a little overwhelming, to be honest. But before the break, we were talking about solutions. The article we're deep diving into offered some guidance, right?
Absolutely. It emphasizes the need for clear ethical guidelines and agreements for AI development. Transparency is key, especially when it comes to testing. We need to know how these systems are being evaluated, what the potential risks are, and who's ultimately responsible.
So, no more AI operating in the shadows. We need to shine a light on those algorithms, make sure everything's out in the open.
Exactly. Open communication is crucial. All stakeholders, and that means everyone, policymakers, researchers, the general public, need to be informed and involved in the process. It's not just about transparency in testing either. It's about transparency in deployment. We need to know where and how these AI systems are being used and what impact they're having on our lives.
It's about making sure AI doesn't become this mysterious force operating beyond our control. We need to be in the loop.
Right. Along with transparency, we need to prioritize human oversight, especially in those high-stakes areas, like warfare, healthcare, criminal justice. We can't just hand over life-altering decisions to machines without human judgment and ethical considerations.
We've got to make sure AI remains a tool that serves humanity, not the other way around.
Absolutely. And that brings us to another key recommendation: international collaboration. AI is a global phenomenon, so tackling these challenges requires a coordinated global effort. We need international agreements and standards to guide its development and deployment. Make sure AI benefits all of humanity, not just a select few.
It's a good reminder that we're all in this together. We need to work together to shape the future of AI in a way that promotes peace, prosperity, and, well, makes the world a better place. Speaking of which, the article also talks about AI's potential impact on a global scale, right? We touched on the AI arms race earlier, but there's more to it than that, right?
Absolutely. AI is already reshaping the global landscape. You've got the competition for AI dominance heating up, with countries vying for technological supremacy. The economic implications are massive, with AI poised to disrupt industries and create entirely new sectors. And of course, we can't ignore the geopolitical ramifications: AI's potential to shift the balance of power, change the nature of warfare, even redefine what national security means.
It's a lot to wrap your head around. One thing that really stood out to me in the article was the whole concept of AI simulating human behavior. We talked about generative agents and deepfakes, but it's such a mind-boggling idea. AI creating virtual communities, generating personas that are almost indistinguishable from real people. It's wild.
It is pretty incredible, and it presents both amazing opportunities and some serious challenges. On the one hand, the ability to simulate human behavior with such fidelity opens up a whole world of possibilities. Imagine being able to test social theories or economic models in these hyper-realistic virtual environments. We could gain insights into human psychology and behavior that would be impossible to obtain in the real world.
It's like having this giant social experiment at your fingertips. You could tweak variables, observe outcomes, and get a much deeper understanding of how societies work.
Exactly. But on the other hand, this technology could be used for more malicious purposes. Think about AI-generated deepfakes being used to spread propaganda, manipulate public opinion, sow discord. We're already seeing the damage that misinformation and disinformation can do online, and AI has the potential to amplify those threats exponentially.
It's like giving bad actors a superpower, the ability to manipulate reality itself. And it's not just deepfakes. Imagine these AI-powered propaganda machines churning out tailored content designed to play on our biases and vulnerabilities. It's a recipe for social division and chaos.
It's a sobering thought, and it really highlights the importance of ethical considerations and safeguards in AI development. We need to be proactive about setting boundaries, ensuring human oversight, and prioritizing transparency and accountability.
So it's a race against time, in a way. We need to stay ahead of the curve, anticipate the potential pitfalls, and put the necessary safeguards in place before it's too late.
Exactly. The stakes are incredibly high. The
Yeah.
future of our societies, maybe even the survival of our species, hinges on our ability to use AI responsibly.
No pressure, right. Okay, so on a slightly less dramatic note, let's shift gears a bit and talk about what we can each do to navigate this complex landscape. We've discussed international agreements and ethical guidelines, but what about individual actions? Can we as everyday citizens really make a difference when it comes to AI?
Absolutely. In fact, individual action is crucial. We can't just sit back and wait for governments and corporations to solve these problems. We all have a role to play in shaping the future of AI, no matter how small it may seem.
Okay, I'm all ears. What can we as individuals actually do? It's not like we can single-handedly rewrite international treaties or control the direction of AI research.
True, but our collective voice does matter. We can start by staying informed. This deep dive we're doing is a great example, but don't stop there. Read articles, listen to podcasts, watch documentaries, take online courses. There are tons of resources out there. The more we understand about AI, the better equipped we'll be to have those important conversations, advocate for responsible development, and make informed choices about the technologies we use and support.
So knowledge is power, as they say. But what about taking action? What can we do beyond just educating ourselves?
Well, there are plenty of ways to get involved. For one, we can support organizations that are dedicated to ethical AI development and governance. There are a lot of nonprofits and advocacy groups out there working tirelessly to make sure AI is used for good. We can volunteer our time, donate to their cause, or simply spread awareness about their work.
That's a great idea. Supporting organizations that align with our values is a tangible way to make a difference. What else can we do?
We can hold corporations accountable for their AI practices. As consumers, we have a lot of power. We can choose to support companies that prioritize ethical considerations in their AI development and deployment, scrutinize their policies, ask those tough questions about data privacy and algorithmic bias, demand transparency in how they're using AI to impact our lives.
It's about being conscious consumers, right?
Yeah.
Putting our money where our mouths are and supporting the businesses that are doing the right thing.
Exactly. And let's not underestimate the power of social media and those online platforms. We can use them to raise awareness about the ethical implications of AI, share informative articles and resources, and engage in those constructive discussions that can lead to real change.
So it's about amplifying the conversation, making sure these crucial issues are front and center. But let's get even more specific. What are some practical questions we should be asking when it comes to AI? What are those red flags to watch out for?
That's a great question. Here are a few to consider. How is my data being used to train and develop AI systems? Is my privacy being respected? Are these AI systems making fair and impartial decisions? Or are they perpetuating existing biases and inequalities? Can I understand how these AI systems are making decisions that affect my life? Are the algorithms transparent and accountable? How is AI going to impact the job market, and what can we do to prepare for those changes? And importantly, how can we prevent the development and use of those autonomous weapons, and how do we ensure human control over AI in warfare?
Wow, that's a lot to think about. But it's a good reminder that we need to be engaged, informed, and, well, critical thinkers when it comes to AI. We can't just be passive observers. We need to be active participants in shaping the future of this technology.
Exactly. It's about taking ownership of our role in this technological revolution. It's about recognizing that the future of AI is not predetermined. It's something that we are actively creating through our choices and our actions.
Welcome back. That last segment really got me thinking about our individual roles in this whole AI revolution. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the scale of it all, but I'm also feeling a sense of, I don't know, maybe empowerment. Like we actually can make a difference. What do you think?
I agree. And, the article we've been exploring really emphasizes that individual responsibility. It's not just about waiting for governments or big tech companies to figure things out. It's about each of us taking ownership of AI's future.
So it's not about following a set of rules, but more about embracing a certain mindset, a way of approaching AI.
Exactly. And the article outlines three key principles that I think are really helpful in guiding our thinking and actions.
Yeah.
Understanding, engaging, and shaping.
Okay, I like that. It's action-oriented. So let's start with understanding. What does that mean in the context of AI?
It's about going deeper than just those catchy headlines and buzzwords. It's about really taking the time to grasp how AI works, exploring both its potential benefits and risks, and considering its impact on society as a whole. And remember, AI isn't just one thing, it's a collection of technologies with a wide range of applications. Each one needs to be considered carefully.
So it's about becoming informed citizens in this age of AI. But how do we go beyond just reading articles and listening to podcasts like this one? How do we truly wrap our heads around the complexities of AI?
That's where engaging comes in. It's about being an active participant in the conversation about AI. Ask those tough questions. Challenge assumptions. Demand transparency and accountability from the people and organizations that are developing and using these technologies.
It's about making sure our voices are heard right. Not just sitting back and watching as AI transforms the world, but actively shaping the debate and advocating for ethical development.
Exactly. And this engagement should happen on all levels. It can start with those conversations around the dinner table with friends and family, extend to online discussions in public forums, and even reach the level of political advocacy. It's about making sure AI is developed in a way that reflects the values and needs of the communities it impacts.
That's a powerful idea. We're not just passive consumers of AI. We have a real role to play in shaping its direction. Which brings us to the third principle, shaping. What does that look like in practice?
It's about taking everything we've learned through understanding and engaging and using it to influence the future of AI, both individually and collectively. We can support organizations and initiatives that align with our values, advocate for policies that promote ethical AI development, and make conscious choices about the technologies we use and endorse.
So it's about turning our knowledge and our passion into concrete actions that can actually steer AI in a direction that benefits humanity. But it's also about acknowledging that we don't have all the answers right now, right? This whole AI thing is a journey, and we need to be flexible and adapt as we learn more.
You got it. There's no single solution that will work for every situation, and what's considered ethical today might evolve as technology advances. We need to stay adaptable and open to new information.
Makes sense. So we've covered understanding, engaging, and shaping. Anything else from the article that you think is especially relevant?
One thing that really stood out to me was the importance of diverse perspectives in the development and governance of AI. We need to make sure that people from all walks of life, different cultures, backgrounds, disciplines, experiences, have a voice in shaping these technologies.
Absolutely. If only a narrow group of people are shaping the future of AI, we risk creating systems that perpetuate existing biases and inequalities. It's like if everyone in the room looks the same and thinks the same, you're probably missing a lot of crucial perspectives.
Exactly. It's not just about representation, though. It's about ensuring that AI is developed with a deep understanding of human values, ethics, and the complexities of different social contexts. We need to remember that AI isn't just a technical challenge, it's a human challenge.
That's a great way to frame it. Technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. It's a powerful reminder that we're all in this together. The future of AI isn't some predetermined outcome. It's something we're all shaping together.
And that's both empowering and, honestly, a little intimidating, right? It's a huge responsibility.
It is, but it's also an incredible opportunity to use AI to address some of the world's biggest challenges and create a future where everyone can thrive.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance between cautious optimism and a clear-eyed understanding of both the potential and the limitations of AI.
Well, on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical aspects of AI to its impact on society and the role each of us can play in shaping its future. It's a lot to digest, but I hope it's inspired our listeners to keep learning, stay engaged, and continue exploring this fascinating and rapidly evolving field. And remember, the future of AI isn't set in stone. It's something we're creating together, right now, through our choices and actions. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI.